Hello everyone, this is Dr. Mansha Yang from Shenzhen CSMAR Data Technology Company. Welcome to join me in this session to learn about our database CSMAR and the application in academic research. This session will cover the following three parts. Firstly, we will learn about CSMAR. What is this database and how can we use it to search for the data we need in academic writing? And in the second part, we will talk more about the application of CSMAR data in empirical research. Thirdly, we will talk about some value-added services we can offer to you related to academic research by our company. So, moving on to part 1, a brief introduction about CSMAR. What is this database? CSMAR, short for China Stock Market and Accounting Research Database, following the standard of international leading databases such as CompuStat and deeply rooted in the economic and society development of China. This database, developed and designed by CSMAR Data Technology, is intended for academic research. We have over 20 years of experience in providing economic, financial, and accounting data, and sub-databases included in this database can cover many fields in economic and management studies. As for the products and the databases we provide on CSMAR, we have 18 series of databases, including over 150 sub-databases. Some most used series including China-listed firm research series, covering informations of listed firms all round, and China stock market series, we can get stock trading data on listed firms. As for some macro level data included in China industry research series and other relevant series, we can visit the website to click into all the series to choose for the data that meets the needs of our study. And we have cooperation. We have conducted cooperation with WORDS, and now there are 13 CSMAR databases available on WORDS for us to search, mostly from China-listed firm researches, providing information for international scholars to learn about China-listed firms, as well as China stock market series. And as for academic citation, up to November 23rd, 2020, there are over 80,000 articles published home and abroad using CSMAR data. And in this chart, we've listed some top journals in fields such as finance, accounting, economics, and management. Still updated on late 2020, we have nearly 200 international in articles in English published in top journals using CSMAR data. And as for the function of CSMAR data, how can it serve our research? Here, we have listed its main functions. For example, as a database, we can search data through data query in one table or cross-table queries, allowing us to combine fields from different tables, different sub-databases, or different series so that we can download it all together in one table. That is data query. We can also search for the information we need, be it a field, a table, or database through keywords in our homepage. Also, we have API document that is more advanced functions included in data service. API document documenting the common commands we need to invoke CSMAR data in some most popularly used software for us to analyze our data. Also, we can have customized data, personally tailored to meet the needs of our personal requirements in academic research. So, in the following part, when we talk about how to use CSMAR, how to search data on it, we will switch on to the homepage in the browser to walk you through some processes we need to go through when searching information on CSMAR database. Here, in the browser, we've opened the website of CSMAR database, and the layout of the homepage would be on the upper right side. We can switch language version. Our database supports searching in English and Chinese version. And as for some main function, in Get Data, we can view all the 18 series and over 150 databases on our platform. As for support, we can have the searching guide on data query or cross-table query in PDF file, and customize data if we have need to cooperate with us and get some more personalized customized data. Click Support Customized Data column, and we can find it in here to fill in the form to submit our requirement on customized data. In API document, we can find that we now support 4 types of software, including Python, R, MATLAB, and Stata. In this document, we have very detailed information on how to set up CSMAR Stata installation and what commands we can use to log in our accounts and find the data to download. That is in support API documents. So back to our homepage. If we need to search certain information, a field, a table, or a database on our homepage, we can firstly use the search bar and enter keyword to locate our information. For example, financial statements, a very commonly used database in corporate analysis. And after we enter the keyword, 3 types of results are available for us to choose from. Firstly, field results. If we are searching for a field, after entering the keyword, visit field result to search for the choices. Or table results. If we are searching for a table, for example, income statement, this is the place we need to visit for the results. And now, we just searched one database financial statement, so we visit database results and clicked on the choice available here. Financial statements belongs to China-listed firm research series. After a simple click, it will transfer us to this search page. And another way to get to the search page in this subdatabase, we can visit through Get Data. And as we mentioned earlier, it belongs to China-listed firm research series. Click in here and find all the subdatabases contained in the series on the right side, and financial statements is also listed among them. Click on the name of the subdatabases, and we can be led again to the search page. That is a query form. This is where we can search for specific fields, indicators for our research. But before we conduct searching, we may want to know more about this database, so we can have a quick view on the complementary functions on the right side, listed on the right side. Firstly, database menus. Here we have a brief introduction on this sub-databases, how it's been developed, and some backdrop of its development and related research topics. And in the table of contents, we can preview what fields or files are contained in this database so that we can match the need of our search to the contents here. Also, the data range and the frequency of the data being updated in these databases, among other informations, are included in this table. And for more detailed information, we can also click here, database menus, to download a more detailed PDF file. If we have derivative indicators in a certain database and we want to know how these indicators are calculated following what equations, what method used by what famously cited articles, all these informations will be included in database menus. As for field description and sample data, in this column, we can have a perusal of the database, a quick preview of the database containing part of the data, sample data. And in field description, all the fields contained in the database, its description, its definition will be listed in detail in field description, so that if we want to search for specific definition of some fields to clear some doubts when we are using the indicators in our research, we can refer to this table, field description. Last but not least, the column paper using CSMAR. In this column, we've sorted out some most recently published articles on some top journals that are closely related to the database we are using, and some other related CSMAR databases, and its information will also be included in this table to facilitate our search for leading top articles when we are trying to build up our literature review. So these are three complementary functions for us to better grasp the database we are using. So back to query form, taking balance sheet in financial statements as an example to show how can we search and download the data file. Several steps for us to go through. Step 1, setting the data range. To set the date range, simply click from or to outline the time of the data in accordance to the need of our study. Clicked onto this bar, a calendar will pop out. We can select dates on the calendar from to map out the start time and the end time of the data we want to download. That is step 1. Next, step 2, selection of company codes. There are 3 ways for us to accomplish this selection. Firstly, through select. Here, the website has given several classifications in accordance to stock market or industry classification or area. We've seen in many published articles, the authors use, for example, companies in all A shares, listed in all A shares as their sample. If we want to download information on this specific set of companies, click Open Stock Market Classifications, choose all A shares, and the backup choices will be listed in the middle section. We can either select several companies or choose all. So all the A share listed companies will be chosen as our sample. Click OK, and the company code selection will be completed. Method 2, we can download templates and fill in the company codes following the format of the templates, and we import the file we just filled in through browse, and that is also a way to select company codes. Or we can choose all companies and download all the information in this table. Now, moving to part of step 3, selecting the fields. That is the specific indicators we need in our model. We can either search through keywords or scrolling down the list to collect on several fields we need, and the selected ones will be popped to the right side. Or we can select all, and all the fields in this table will be selected. And an optional step will be condition setting. Because we are now using financial statement database, there are different types of financial statement. If we only want information from one type of it, we need to add a condition to help us to filter out this specific type of data. So the relevant field name will be statement type. Click on it, and in operator we choose equals to. Now in value part, we can see the different types of statements: consolidated statements or parent statements. For example, we want information in consolidated statements. So in value part, we choose this as the condition and click add. Add the condition setting. Now it's accomplished. And then we can choose the query output form. Excel 2007 file is recommended, and we can also click to leave our email address for a backup document. Before we download the data, here's a part for us to preview. We can have a quick view of our selection beforehand, so to make sure we haven't made any mistakes or left out important information during our data selection. If everything goes in the right place, we can back to the former page and click download. And a zip file for our data package is now being generated. When the whole process is accomplished, we can click on the file name to download the data package. That is data query. And we also mentioned that besides searching in one specific table for indicators, this database supports cross-table query. So in get data, we choose cross-table query section column, and we can be led to cross-table query. The outlay of this search function is also listing all the series on the left side, but the relevant sub-databases, in order to find those, we have to click to unfold all the series to show the contained sub-databases. For example, we take again financial statements from China listed firm research series as an instance. We first find financial statements and click open its containing tables, balance sheets. Click open balance sheet to review all the containing fields, and we clicked on the fields to select them. The selected ones will pop out on the right blank side. That is some fields, some indicators from one table, and in cross-table query, we expect to search data from different databases. For example, if we want some information on stock trading in our model building, so we move on to another series, China stock market series, clicked on stock trading to get access to some of the information contained in it. For example, now we want some stock price and returns on the daily basis. Click open daily stock price and returns to have a view of the fields and select them. The selected ones also show on the right side. Now we have a combined set of fields from different tables. To get access to more fields from different tables, the operations will be the same. And scrolling down to see the steps on setting, including date range and company codes, we can see that they are exactly the same as data query from one single table. But what has been left out is condition setting, because this is an optional setting. So in cross-table queries, some databases doesn't require the setting of condition. We don't have one bar listed out here altogether. We simply have to scroll it up, and the conditions will be attached to the table that needs setting. For example, financial statements. Here in gray font, we can see the condition of statement type. Click on it, and we can choose from here different types of statement, consolidated or parent statements. Click OK. Finish condition setting, and moving on to the output selection and preview. If everything is fine, all the information we need is contained, we can back up to download the file. That is so much for searching data on CSMAR database. If we still have questions when using it, don't forget to visit support and get operation guide. Now, back to our slides. Here, we have also listed out the important steps in using CSMAR in our slides for us to review after our session. And also, we've mentioned that we have 13 databases available on Words. On this slide, we've mapped out the path to visit CSMAR database on Words. Open the home page of Words. In subscription columns, we can find CSMAR. Click here to access CSMAR, and all the 13 available databases on Words will be shown to you after we clicked CSMAR to see the subscription of Words in CSMAR of CSMAR in Words. So that is so much for part 1. We've learned about the database and how to search the information in this database. And that leads to part 2. How can we better use this data to boost the quality, the originality of our research? So in this part, we want to firstly talk about the most used data so that we can have a direction to search some very common indicators in CSMAR database. Also, we will show you some new databases we've updated annually, so that if we want some new direction and matching data of this direction, we know where to find them. So here is a graph that calculates all the series and its containing sub-databases. We can see that from this graph, China listed firm research series has the most sub-databases. This is one of the most far-reaching series, the most inclusive series among all the 18s, so that corporate analysis related topics, most of the topics can be supported data-wise by this data series. So here we have a simple structure of corporate analysis and its 4 core aspects. The most fundamental and classic aspects to select research topic or control variables are mapped out in this structure. And we can, for example, use this simplified structure as a direction or roadmap for us to match databases with some relevant topics. For example, researchers selected studying corporates will focus firstly on corporate management and internal control. And to break down this big subject, we can see that from corporate management, some might focus on the main bodies of the corporate management, including state shareholders, board of directors, etc. And as for internal control, some subject in question may cover governance structure, internal supervision, risk management. So if we want to get information, get data for us to map out the detailed status quo of the company, of its management and internal control, we might visit some databases from China-listed firm research series, including shareholder, internal control, and corporate governance. That is part 1 of the core corporate analysis issues. Part 2 would include the study on environment and strategy. As for strategy analysis, we might focus on the macro environment or the industry in which the corporate is operating. As for business mode, it might be relevant to the cash flow, the profit model, or competitive edge of a certain company. So in order to get information, get data describing all these important aspects in environment and strategy analysis, we can keep an eye on databases including financial statement derivative or family firm. And the third part, corporate behavior, including but not limited to marketing strategy, financial strategies such as the dividend policy, the share repurchase of the company, as well as capital management such as M&A and asset restructuring. We also have matching databases for all these subjects, such as database on dividend distribution, M&A, asset restructuring, and share repurchase, allowing us to get specific information of all these events, all this major behavior of listed corporates in China. And the fourth part will be performance and valuation of certain company, including accounting analysis, financial statement analysis, and earning forecasts, as well as stock valuation. Relevant databases including accounting information quality, financial statements are very classic, most used ones in corporate analysis, as well as analyst forecasts, with the forecast information from analysts on the listed companies, so that we can either have an understanding, have information on earning forecasts, or we can use this data to study the behavior or the accuracy of the analyst forecast. So this is a simplified and classic framework of corporate analysis. But in reality, when we are writing our own academic paper, we need originality, some edge for us to make breakthrough. So in order to combine this most used, traditionally used, or classic data in the writing of a originality ridden paper, we need to focus on some heated research topic for us to spice things up. One of the topic would be digital economy. Let's take a look at the research on digital economy and find a way to merge corporate analysis, the traditional framework, into this new trend. So we are all, the whole society, the whole world, are talking about digital economy. The rapidly advancing digital economy is now profoundly reshaping our world. And a lot of researchers have examined the development of digital economy and how the economic system, industries, institutions, etc. are adapting to it. So changes are happening, including changes in our study sample, that is corporates. So if we study from this perspective, digital economy, we can find new things, new angles to add to our paper. And existing researches on digital economy in China mainly focus on the following 6 aspects that has been sorted out and listed on the right side. Let's take a look at it, including research on this subject, including, for example, the research of the connotation feature system of digital economy, the innovative development of this economic form, as well as its impact on labor force and labor relations, the governance of digital economy, regional development and evaluation of digital economy, as well as the measure of its contribution, of its size, so on and so forth. So our corporate analysis and the combination of digital economy, the articles on the subject can be included in number 2, the innovative development of digital economy. We can take a look at some published articles as an example to show us how we can choose the aspects related to digital economy and how the models are built, how the data are used. Here we have one article published in Audit Research in the year 2020. The language is in Chinese, and the study subject is the use of digital technology, including big data and blockchain, and its effects on the audit fees of listed company. This study has found out that companies using these digital technologies, such as big data and blockchain, can significantly increase the audit fee. This is because the application of such technology will lead to higher risk of the auditors, so more audit procedures are made necessary for the auditors to control the risk under an acceptable level, thus inducing higher costs. This is the content of this research. In order to examine the existence of the aforementioned in higher cost, this paper builds a panel data model using data of listed companies from the year 2013 to 2018. So in this model, we can see that the audit fee is selected as the dependent variable. For independent variables, and the innovative ones will be the indicators capturing the use of big data and internet. And they also use Python method to go through the announcement of listed companies to see if there are words related to big data or blockchain or internet plus occurred in the statement, and made a system to calculate the frequency and to capture the adoption of such digital technologies. Other relevant control variables are also listed in this chart, and we can see that all the selection of control variables are actually very close to following the pattern of the corporate analysis structure. So following through its logic, we can simply use one innovative variables to capture the development of digital economy, and building on the classic corporate analysis structure, we can have like revolutionized the traditional corporate analysis into a most recently developing trend in our current society. That is example number one. Example number two, the description of digital economy development is from a more macro level, and in this article published on economic problems in the year 2021, talk about digital economy development and enterprise value enhancement to examine whether the development of such economic form can actually contribute to the value enhancement of listed corporates. So to capture the development level of digital economy, this article uses the implementation of a strategy called Broadband China, this policy as a proxy of digital economic development if the company locates in the area with this strategy, this policy, it is enjoying a higher level of digital economic development. Otherwise, the development level will be considered lower. And with this Broadband China strategy as the quasi-natural experiment, DID method is used in this analyzing process. The model is listed as above, and relevant variables, for example, the dependent variables, enterprise value, Tobin's Q is used as the proxy of enterprise value. Other relevant control variables and their selection, as we can see, is also following the structure of corporate analysis. The classic parts, for example, the financial states of the companies and its management and control, or the audit opinions the companies received. So here we can see that in order to capture the development of digital economy, we can either access from a macro or a micro level to build indicators, variables, to add new aspects, new perspectives to our writing, to our research on corporates. So that is one of the heated research topics. And another heated research topics we have, for example, here is fintech. Fintech, short for financial technology, is about the introduction of new technologies into financial sector, pretty much closely related to the development of digital economy, specifically with a specific focus on the financial sector. So, and it is also revolutionizing the financial industry. We have articles sorting out the existing studies on fintech in China, and the mostly studied aspects, 6 aspects, are listed here. Firstly, the application and new trends of fintech. Fintech and inclusive finance, how the advantage of fintech can help the development of inclusive finance, and the risk and regulation of fintech, as well as to better regulate it, the development of regtech, and the relations between fintech and traditional financial industry. Things of the old time might be changed with the development of fintech. So when we study listed companies, we might want to focus on this new trend as one of the perspective changing for game changer in our study. Last but not least, impact of fintech on real economy. And we can also take a look at one article as an example. This one published in Economic Research Journal in the year 2020 studies fintech and financial analysts in the markets. And the author explores the influence of fintech platforms, a smart platform for investors to get information that has been sorted out and listed on these platforms via AI or other digital or big data technologies. So the influence of these platforms is definitely significant on the financial market. And according to this study, the results show that fintech platforms using focusing on financial information service can substitute the traditional analyst markets. In terms of information supply markets, the proportion of analyst reports decrease gradually, and the substitution effect of fintechs can be less significant if the listed companies are enjoying high level of attention from the public. This is the conclusions this paper draws. In order to meet the needs to study such an phenomenon, this paper builds the panel model as listed, and some relevant variables in this chart including the fintech platform's cover of the company and the analyst reports that covers information on the company. To get such data, we can view from analyst forecasts and a database specifically focusing on fintech companies developed by Tsinghua University. Other important control variables are also following the pattern of traditional corporate analysis structure. So here we can see that in order to add new perspectives to our paper, we can firstly have a grasp of what are the heated topics, research topics nowadays, and we use one or two or several a set of variables to capture the new developments and add it into our traditional model, and the originality, the breakthrough of the studies can be generated. These are two examples related to the most used data, most studied areas of listed companies. And as for some new directions, apart from the traditional ones, we are enjoying a recurring or non-stopping development trend of new economic issues happening every day for us to choose as research subject. But in order to build model in an empirical analysis, we have to get new data. So here, we listed out some newly added databases into the big family in recent years. In the year 2019, we have databases on outward foreign direct investment, stock foreign sentiments, to change the text information into number for us to put in our model. And trust industry financial indicators, fund manager's character, audit research, cultural research, to combine cultural aspects in the study of economy or the corporate, among other subjects, as well as behavioral finance, also a very new and highly focused field of study. In the year 2020, regarding the social and economic development, we have updated the following 7 databases, including value adjustment mechanism, financial institution branches, and the COVID-19 research series, because that is one of the biggest, most influential social events happened that year. So in order to analyze its impact on information or social development, we have 2 databases, NCP Academic and fight for us to get relevant data. Other new databases in year 2020 are accounting information quality, realized indicators, and international macro integrated database. In this year, we are also updating many databases following the trend and the heated topic of this year. And the already available databases includes environmental governance of listed companies, supply chain, bank governance, and green pattern. More databases on relevant subjects will be available online later in this year. If we are interested and want to get data on these new directions, we can keep an eye on the release of our new databases. So as for part 3, value-added services, we have an official account on WeChat where we published informations on our latest data offerings, on literature reviews of some already available databases for us to read about how such indicators can be used in relevant studies to help us better understand the application of new data in researches, and also some relevant academic events we are likely to hold in the future will be published as news on our WeChat official account. So if we want to keep up with CSMAR, feel free to scan the QR code and follow our official account. That is so much I want to share today. I hope after this session, we can have a comprehensive understanding of CSMAR and how our data can be used in our studies. And thank you for your attention.